Welcome to Ielts Masterclass episode 4. In this episode, we'll be talking about the secrets you need in order to pass and smash your Ielts writing. See, Ielts writing is one of the tough tasks you have to go through during your Ielts, and if you do it right, you get the required score, minimum of 7. If you do it wrongly, you're going to get below that. If you've written Ielts before and you didn't even get the required score, you should pay extra attention to the things I want to share with you today so that you see what you missed. If you're going to be writing Ielts for the first time and you don't want to resit, so this is the time for you to pay attention. All right. When I started writing my Ielts, I didn't know about these secrets I'm about to share with you today until I had the opportunity of taking a masterclass that shared the a masterclass that talked about the Ielts marking scheme. And this is a masterclass that was developed by one of the organizations that developed Ielts marking scheme. So after that, I was able to start smashing my Ielts writing all the time. So pay attention, okay? So Ielts Ielts writing task has 2 tasks. The first one is the letter writing task. All right. The second one is essay writing task. So keep this in mind. All right. Letter writing and essay writing. These are the 2 things. These are the 2 things you will need to. These are the 2 things that you will need to take care of once you start your Ielts writing task. All right. So I just want to clean up what I've already written. So pay extra attention. We're going to take them one after the other. All right, one after the other. So let's take the Ielts letter writing. So we'll start here, letter writing, okay? So we want to talk about the letter writing task. We want to talk about the Ielts letter writing task. One thing I want you to know is that the letter writing task always has, like, they will tell you to write a letter to somebody, right? But based on what they tell you or who they tell you to write to, it could either become a formal letter or an informal letter. Usually, they don't want, I know that some people have this semi-formal letter thing, but usually they don't try to tell you to write a semi-formal letter because semi-formal letter is like the standard is not clear. It's like sitting on the fence. So most times they will tell you to write formal letter or informal letter. This means that your first real task when you are tackling tax 1, all right? When you are tackling tax 1, your first real task is for you to figure out whether it is a formal letter you need to write or an informal letter. Why? Because formal letter and informal letter they follow different formats. You have to do different things. Okay. Now another thing for you to keep in mind. And I'm going to say how to know the one to write. Another thing for you to keep in mind is that usually they will tell you to do one thing. E.g., maybe write to your mom, invite her for your wedding. Write to your cousin, tell him to visit. Write to your manager, tell her to request for extension. Request for salary increase. Like they will tell you to do one thing. If you remember at episode 1 of this masterclass, we talked about the paragraph structure. That is going to be very important here again. Paragraph structure. Why? 1 point is equal to 1 paragraph. I explained to you that you don't discuss 2 points inside 1 paragraph. You don't discuss 2 points inside 1 paragraph. What does this mean? If they tell you to write a letter to somebody and they tell you to do one thing, you're supposed to do that thing in 1 main paragraph, not 2. But if they say, tell the person to do this, then also tell the person to do this, that's 2 things, right? You have to have 2 paragraphs. So 1 point is equal to 1 paragraph. And we talked about a paragraph, structure of a paragraph, where we say a paragraph is made up of a topic sentence, an explanation for the topic sentence, an example to back up the reason or to back up the explanation for the topic sentence. So it's like invariably we're talking about, it's like in your mind, you know that the paragraph has 3 things you need to do to accomplish a full paragraph, right? And one thing for you to note is that because they're going to tell you to do one thing, that means the letter should have 1 main paragraph. Oftentimes, it will have an introduction, an ending, right? But it will be one main paragraph. The body of the letter will be one main paragraph. Keep this in mind, because if you another mistake people make, I'm going to handle mistakes that people make at the end. Another mistake people make is that they will not stick to the number to the task. Like task 1 in IELTS is the expected length is 150 words. Task 2 is 250 words. So the common mistake is that you see people in task 1, because they ask you to do one thing, which is supposed to be one paragraph, they will go and be writing 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs. So their word count will be so much, they may even lose points. But even if you don't lose points, the main place you're going to lose points is that because you were writing so much in your first task, your second task, which is usually longer, you don't have time to complete it. Because you spent all your time in task 1, you don't have time to complete it, all right? To complete task 2. That's how it actually now hurts your mark. So you want to understand that because they will tell you to do one thing in the letter is supposed to have one paragraph. Keep this in mind. Now, how do you actually tell whether you're going to be writing formal letter or informal letter? As we already explained that both of them have different formats. So this is a rule of thumb. If they ask you to write to family and friends, or family or friends, any of them, either a family member or a friend, then it is informal. If they ask you to write to somebody in a position, like somebody in a position like your boss, the manager, the state coordinator, somebody that is not a family or friend, it is formal letter. Easier way for you to make it, for me to make it easier for you to understand. If you're writing somebody, even if you know the person, let's say it's your boss, you know the person, but it's not your family or friend, then is a formal letter. Once they ask you, write to your mom, dad, brother, sister, niece, friend, informal letter. Once they start stating the position of the person, write to your landlord, manager, head of state, it is a formal letter. So this is the first thing you need to do. So when you see the IELTS writing task 1, which is a letter writing task, the first thing that should come to your mind is, who did they say I should write to? Once you identify that, you now ask yourself, is this a formal letter or informal letter? Because that's what is going to differentiate everything. Many people make the mistake of not knowing whether it's a formal letter or informal letter. So as a result, they mix up the structure, and that's already failure for them. All right? So now, let's talk about the differences between the two. All right? So I want to tell you that the letter you are going to write in your IELTS has five parts. All right? 5 parts. I'm going to just try to write numbers. It will have 5 parts. Okay? And based on whether it's formal letter or informal letter, there will be differences. I'll tell you. If you are writing to your boss, you want to put, if you are writing a formal letter, you will start with dear, right? Dear, and put the position of the person. So if you are writing to your landlord, you will say, dear landlord. Oh, one moment. You say, dear landlord, okay? Or landlady, whatever. If you are writing to your manager, dear head of state. If you are writing to your CEO, don't say CEO, just say dear chief executive officer. Like, write it in full. That's how to start, right? If it is informal, you don't want to start with dear. You want to also put the name of the person, right? Because informal means you know this person. Let me give you an example. Normally, if you want to write something to your mom, will you say dear mother? It does not make sense, right? You just be like, you can be like, dear mom. If he's abroad, you even call your mom by her name, right? But you can put like dear mom instead of saying dear mother, because dear mother sounds so formal, and that's not how you address your mom. Do you remember when I told you in episode 1 that IELTS is not an exam? Okay, let me put it this way. It's an exam, but it's an exam that is testing what you're going to do in a natural condition. So for you to pass IELTS, you have to pretend that it is not an exam and do exactly what you're supposed to do if that thing happens to you normally. So if they say write to your friend, don't say dear friend. truth be told, when you write to your friend, you say dear friend. No, if I write to my friend, that means what? Pick a friend. You cannot write dear friend to any of your friends. No, if you can say something like dear Emeka, dear Menko, dear Jane, dear Percy, dear Jamie, dear Linda, dear Catherine. That's how you call them. You will not say dear sister, dear sister also helps, but it's kind of very formal. So when you are writing an informal letter, you can put dear and the name of the person, or you can even say, hi, Linda. That is informal. Did you see it? So you see the tone changed. Dear Linda. That's if you don't know me. You can even say dear Vantage CEO, But if it's a friend, they will not say dear Linda. They will be like, hi, Linda. That's how you talk to your friend. You want to talk to you and you're my friend. I won't say dear this. I will be like, hi, Jane. How you doing today? Right? Or, oh, how's your side? How's the weather? Hope people are okay. That comes to the next point. So you use hi here you use dear. The second one is the greeting. If it's a formal letter, you want to keep it formal. You don't even want to start saying how are you. Like, do you write your state governor and say how are you? You can even say something like, I hope this email meets you well. You can say something like, you can just go straight and introduce yourself. My name is Jane. I'm the youth coordinator for my local government, for my state. You just go ahead and introduce yourself if it's formal letter. So here, I'm going to say introduction. Introduction, right? That's the second thing you need to do. If it's informal letter, instead of, you can't write to your sister and say, my dear sister, you now say, I am the second child in your family. That's introduction. It does not make sense. Instead, you will do greetings. Like you will greet her. You can be like, hi Linda, how are you doing? How are you doing today? How are you and your husband? How are you and my cousin? You want to greet the person because that's what you normally do. Then here is the body of the letter. Body of the letter. All right, that's the third thing. That body of the letter, I'll tell you the difference between the two. But one thing you need to know is that this body of the letter is going to be one paragraph. Because this is the place. Okay, so as I was telling you, the body, you have to understand that because they're going to tell you to do one thing, the body of the email is going to be one paragraph. However, there's a difference between what you will write. Of course, you know that one paragraph means in a topic sentence, topic sentence, let me put it here. Topic sentence, explanation, let me put it here, and then example. Right? So, topic sentence, explanation for the topic sentence, example to back up the topic sentence. That's what the one body is. And I'm going to give you examples. So, imagine they say, write your mom, invite her for your wedding. So, after you have called her like, hello, hi mom, how are you doing today? How is daddy? Then you come to the body of the email, topic sentence. I'm writing to invite you for my wedding. If you can get more specific, better. I'm writing to invite you for my wedding with John. That will be happening May 28th, September 25th, December 21st. I'm just giving an example. That's a weird example. Let's just say it's your friend. You can say, hi Juliet, how are you doing today? How is school? How is work? I'm writing. This is the body, this greeting, right? Hi, Linda. Greeting, right? Then you come to the body of the email where you are now going to give topic sentence. Why are you writing? That's topic sentence. A summary of why you are writing. Then you're going to give explanation to back up the topic sentence. So you're inviting her for the topic sentence. So you're inviting her with the topic sentence. Then you can say something like, you've been one of my very close friends now. I don't keep lots of friends, but you've been there for me. You've been there for me. I really want you to share this moment with me. This is an explanation for what? The invite, which is the topic sentence. You can give example. You can say, so you are giving an example to back up the reason for the topic sentence, right? So topic sentence is invitation. Reason is because she's your close friend and you want to share this moment with her. Example. So that example should tell us why she's your close friend, right? So it's like an example to back up the explanation for the topic sentence. So I can say something like, for example, when I was in school and I was really broke, you made sure, and I didn't have any money to eat, you made sure that whenever you buy food, you buy for me. I really appreciated that gesture. You see? So it's like you give an example to back up the explanation, and the explanation is explaining the reason for the topic sentence. That's a paragraph. You cannot discuss 2 points in one paragraph. So, for example, imagine you are inviting her. You also want her to be your bridesmaid. Then you have to do 2 sentences. But usually, the task in IELTS will give you one task. One task. So, don't make it 2. If you have 2 paragraphs for the same thing, it's a sign that you don't know that 1 point, 1 paragraph. And if it's 2 points, then 2 paragraphs. But if they ask you to do one thing, why are you making it 2? If you make it 2, you are failing. If you try to put all the points inside that 1 paragraph, meaning that you are discussing more than one point inside 1 paragraph, you're also failing. So stick to this. But why I'm explaining the reason for my advice is so that if you go somewhere tomorrow and they give you 2 points, don't say it must be 1 paragraph. Understand it that 1 paragraph means 1 point. So if you have 2 points, you use 2 paragraphs, right? Or 2 tasks, you use 2 paragraphs. So now, after you have done the body, but there's a special difference. Take note of this, my dear. You see, I almost dragged my ear unknowingly. If you miss this, you have to rewrite, and you don't want to rewrite, right? So listen. In the body of a formal letter, you do not use contraction. You know what contraction is? I'll give you an example. Let me write here. Like if you want to say I will, if you want to say it's not writing. So let's say if you want to say I will, this is writing it out. I will, right? If you want to contract it, it will be I will. Do you know? So this is what I'm calling contraction. So in formal letter, you do not use contraction. Everything you want to write, you have to write it out. That's why I say don't use CEO. Write Chief Executive Officer, right? You don't contract. In informal letter, you have to make effort to contract. So in informal letter, don't write I will. If you want to write I will, write it this way. If you want to say you have, write U apostrophe VE, that you've, right? So in the body of formal letter versus the body of informal letter, it will follow the same outline, topic, sentence, explanation, and example. But how somebody will know that this is a formal letter or this is an informal letter, even if they were to cover the heading, the greeting, and everything, is your use of contraction. Use contraction in informal letter. Do not use contraction in formal letter. This is what to keep. So, hope you understood it. If you okay. Now, the other thing is the closing. So, this is where you close. So, in the closing, you have to write something formal. So, you can say, I look forward to your, I look forward to, I'm not writing it in full. I look forward to your feedback. So, like, very formal. The forward is not here. I look forward to your feedback. It's very formal, right? But if it's here, an informal letter, you won't say I look forward to your feedback. You say something like, see you soon. Something like, see you soon. Okay, till I hear from you again. That's how, think of it. How do you close when you are talking with a friend and suddenly it is time for you to, suddenly it's time for you to say, okay, that's the end of it. That's the end of that discussion. Do you say, I look forward to your feedback? Or you're like, okay, get back to me. If it's a friend, you say, get back to me once you get the answer. You see? But if it's your boss, you say, I look forward to your feedback. I hope to receive your response soon. That is formal. Informal, you have to go informal. Say that thing you say to your friend. That's how to write it. Like, see you soon. Hoping to hear from you soon. Till I see you. You know, that's how to close. Then you have to write your name. If it is an informal letter, you write just your first name. Just your first name. And remember, the person marking your IELTS has your name. So end that letter with just your first name. Not your last name. Not your middle name. Just your first name. That's how to end an informal letter. Meanwhile, if it is a formal letter, you have to write your name and your last name. Remember, they have your name. So they'll be watching out for this. So for me now, my last name is Iheme. So if I want to end an informal letter, I'll say Linda Iheme. Linda Iheme. If I want to end a formal letter, an informal letter, I'll write Linda. Like if I'm writing to my brother, I'll be like, okay, this, that, I finished the body. I'll say, okay, till I hear from you again, Linda. I won't say till I hear from you again, Linda Iheme. It's kind of weird, right? It's kind of very formal. So a formal letter and an informal letter follow the same structure, but the content is different. There will be like the first thing, like, hi Linda, dear landlord, dear manager, you see? Then the greeting, introduction, because your landlord or like your manager, your state's head of states does not really know you. You introduce yourself. Here, they already know you. Introducing yourself is an error. So you just have to talk to them or like greet them, ask them about somebody. Then you come to the body of the email, the letter. You use one paragraph because they asked you to do one thing. That thing they asked you to do in the letter. But the difference is that in a formal letter, you will not use contraction. In informal letter, you will use contraction. You will make effort to use contraction. So contract what can be contracted. In a formal letter, do not contract. Even if you want to contract it, write it out in full. Right? And then you close. You want to be formal. I look forward to your response. And all that. Then in informal letter, you be like, see you soon. Like you close it the way you close with a friend on phone. Then for your name, where you are signing out, you put Linda Iheme. Even if you don't put yours faithfully. You know, a formal letter, you say something like yours faithfully, comma, under Linda Iheme. Even if you don't put yours faithfully, but you put first name and last name, you are fine. In a formal letter, some people say yours sincerely, Linda. But the most important thing for you to know is that use only your first name. Use first name and last name here. That's the major thing that can make you lose mark. So with this, we've talked about IELTS writing tax 1, and this I'm going to be making a follow-up of this episode. Let's call it episode 4B. You know, I'm going to be making a follow-up of this episode so that I will talk to you about the second task, the writing task in IELTS, which is the essay writing. All right, but please play this episode again because we've said a lot, but play it again so that you will understand what I'm saying. All right, play it again and make sure that you watch the follow-up episodes to like episode 4B. This is episode 4A. There's episode 4B. So check episode 4B to see the second writing task. Okay. You see, all right, I hope that you implement everything we've talked about today. There is no way you will not score 7 minimum in your IELTS. Now I'm wondering, should I close this video in a formal way or an informal way? Let me close it in an informal way. See you in the next episode. All right.